Well, welcome to the Missouri Healthy Schools Podcast Live. As tonight, we're going to be tackling and looking at investing into employee wellness. Oh, so we're so excited to have this podcast. And my name is Guy Danhoff, and I'm going to be hosting over about the next hour. I'm really excited that you're all here. We've got a great lineup of guests. And without further ado, we're going to get right into it. And my first guest is going to be our Missouri Healthy Schools Director, Jennifer Hunter. Jennifer, how are you tonight?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me on. It's finally I get to be on one of your podcasts. You've been doing this for like 8 years, right?
Exactly. Well, you know what? We always know when the director comes on, it's kind of a big deal. So,
okay.
kind of let our audience know, a little bit about your background and certainly kind of preview tonight's podcast.
Okay. Well, it goes way back to when I lived in Colorado, and I lived in Littleton when the Columbine incident occurred.
Oh, wow.
And until that point, I'd always focused on my family. It was a wonderful community. We walked to school. We had all the things. And just how could that happen there? And it really shifted my focus in life. And when I came back to Missouri, I started in I think it was 2002 with the School Violence and Bullying Prevention Hotline, and worked closely with MSBA, the Center for Education Safety, and also with the folks at School Health at Department of Health and Senior Services. So, long story short, I was somewhat recruited to come over and work on school health at the state health department, but I really didn't get to work on school health because that was the time where the WISC model was the whole school, whole community, whole child was taking off, and CDC had this idea that prediabetes, diabetes, heart disease, physical activity, nutrition, livable streets, community health workers, that would all be one with school health. And then it was like, and promote school health. So I got to work on all those projects and really got my background in chronic disease while I was there. So I feel like that's a lot what we're talking about tonight.
It is
prevention of chronic diseases.
Yep.
And, we say like heart disease is the number one killer in our women and men in Missouri, but a lot of it is also stress. So that's a little bit about my background. And so I feel like I'm finally getting to do what I wanted to do and focus on myself. So I'm very happy to do that. And I'm super excited about listening to the folks tonight because they're in the trenches, they're doing this work, and they've had some phenomenal resources that hopefully those that are listening can copy what they're doing or just pick one thing and get started.
Yeah, Jennifer, why don't you go ahead and introduce our first guest, because our first segment is going to be talking about what Pattonville School District does with their wellness program. And I got to tell you, we've been working with Pattonville, as you know, for several years now, and they always are doing something really exciting. And recently they've won some awards.
Yes, the award-winning JoAnn Greenwell, which is the community and staff engagement. So, just the perfect title of what we're talking about tonight. Thank you, JoAnn, for jumping on.
Yes, of course. Excited to be here.
So, JoAnn, I'm just going to go here right now because it's just the time to do it. So let's go here. Talk to us about, obviously, the 2025 Business Health Culture Award winner. Talk to us about this award, and certainly as you were part of this team at Pattonville School District to be honored with being named this award winner.
It's a huge honor for Pattonville, for the team that I run. The Gateway Business Coalition is not only made up of school districts, we're also made up of large corporations in the St. Louis area that we were up against, like Boeing, Worldwide Technology, other school districts. So when we won this award, it was just an accomplishment from our wellness captains. Our program is fundamentally run by our wellness captains, which I'll get into. So, winning this award was not just myself, our leadership, but it was the whole district that won this award.
Well, congratulations. And JoAnn, with that, why don't you give us a little bit more about your background? Because I know, your role seems to kind of tweak a little bit, or at least every time we
Yeah.
have you on, you got a longer title. So
Yeah.
kind of fill us
Yeah.
up, fill us in on, kind of where you're at now in your role, certainly with Pattonville.
Yeah. So I've been with Pattonville. This is my 19th year at Pattonville School District. Started in our curriculum and instruction department and then went into this role. I oversee our K-8 athletic program, which is a great program for our students for their wellness. And then the staff wellness, employee wellness was added to my department about 4 years ago when our superintendent was redoing our comprehensive school improvement plan and wanted to have one of our major focuses was employee wellness.
Mm.
He wanted to make sure that we were taking care of our staff, coming out of COVID and just different things. He wanted to make sure we were focusing on our employees, our staff, and what their needs are. Also making sure that our staff knows about our wonderful benefits that we have at Pattonville. We're very blessed. We have an on-site clinic where our staff can go for their primary care, for when they're not feeling well. And when we started this 4 years ago, we weren't sure how to do it and how to get that word out, being a larger district. So we are relying on what we call our wellness captains. A lot of people call them champions, but at Pattonville, we are the pirates, and we believe in that. So we are the captains. So we have 2 or 3 from each school. We also have representatives from our key departments like maintenance, transportation, early childhood, our administrative office. And these are the captains are on the boots. They're boots in the ground. They're the ones leading in the schools and their departments. They're listening. They're getting that word out. I mean, this award that we won is because of them. They're the ones really making the difference.
Wow. Well, with that being said, JoAnn, let's break it down a little bit. Why don't you, kind of talk to us a little bit more about, you talked a little bit about why it developed, obviously, because of COVID. We know about all the stress that students and administrators and teachers and just anyone involved in, in the staffing of any school district. And so kind of talk us into my favorite part was, what are some of the initiatives that you guys have launched and that you've seen some really good success as you've launched your employee wellness?
Yeah. So in October, we always do a Walktober where we get a lot of traction where they're walking. But our big initiatives that we're actually running one right now, we run an initiative right when we get back from winter break. It's a district-wide initiative. Last year we did, I don't know if you can show the treasure chest.
Yeah.
So what we do is we break it down into, last year there was 5 islands. So you have to visit each island. You have to do different things in the islands. And we broke it down, as you can see, for healthcare. We hit on financial. We always, the nourishing. So we have to make sure we nutrition. We have a director of food service that helps us. Inner peace. We want to make sure that people are focused on that mindfulness. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, everyone says that, there has to be physical activity. But if you go to the next slide on there, if you can see, it shows what the activities were.
And that's this one? This one?
Nope. Go back. It'll say Wellness Islands, that one. So our wellness captains came together, and these are the things that you'll have to do. Walk for 20 minutes, hydrate yourself. So once you complete 2 things from each island, you go to your wellness captain, and then we have incentives and awards for people. It just really gets people moving. If you're the winner of the school, we always have a school winner that wins throughout the district. They got a coffee truck. Everybody loves a coffee truck. So these are just the things everyone loves, a coffee truck. I mean, it is a big hit for when we bring a coffee truck to a school for those teachers and staff. So then this year, our superintendent actually did, at his opening act, he was talking about songs and how we remember songs and what songs mean to us.
So, and here's the records. Okay, so I get it now.
We played on him, and we actually did the soundtrack to wellness. So you're building your playlist. So the captains are actually playing these songs at staff meetings, opening meetings to get everybody motivated. Old songs, new songs. But again, if you build your soundtrack doing 2 things from each of the soundtrack, you get prizes. This season, you get a fidget pin for a first prize. You get a coffee mug for your
Nice.
second.
Sure.
You get a bag. And then if you finish all the albums, you get a t-shirt. Everyone at Pattonville loves t-shirt, if you win a t-shirt.
Of
So,
course.
yes. So I think these initiatives just start people thinking and getting together. It brings everybody, in this gloom of a month of January, February, people aren't getting out. So we feel it's a really good time for the captains to be promoting these elements. This year, we actually added another element, as you can see from last year, and we included safety and security.
Yep.
We have a new director of safety and security, and he just thought it would be a good idea to have people, you checking your door, are you watching your surroundings, just getting people thinking of different things. That wellness just isn't physical wellness. It's all around wellness.
So JoAnn, okay, I know that have somewhat of a background, being a musician. Of course, I have a daughter that's a theater kid. Okay, so this is my jam, right? No pun intended. But I have to tell you, from reading the playlist, it is so cool reading safety and security. You have the danger zone, taking care of business, staying alive.
Staying alive.
Yes. So, yes, our wellness captains did a lot of great research on this. There was a few songs they wanted to add that just weren't appropriate for a school.
Sure.
These all go, I mean, the nutrition songs play against it. And people are enjoying it. We have a lot of people participating. Yeah.
I love it. Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah.
It's fun. All right. And there's more to this. So I'll go to the next slide.
Yes. So then your playlist are these activities.
Oh,
so it breaks it down. Financial, a lot of people don't think that well-being is financial, but Pattonville actually belongs to an organization called Money Moves. It's an online budgeting system that's free to Pattonville. So we're promoting that people sign up for this. So a lot of these things that are on here are actually go back to our benefits that are free to our employees. It's just getting them to utilize those things.
Right.
So
and then
that's how you build your playlist.
Wow. So every person gets this, and then this is what they fill out.
Yes. So every single staff member gets this. Yes. And then they fill it out. They go to their wellness captains, and the wellness captains have all the prizes. So, and then we have 2 schools fighting it out right now for their winning to win the coffee truck. So they're kind of going back. Those wellness captains are kind of going back and forth, trying to figure out what their percentage is. They keep calling me and saying, okay, are we ahead yet? Are we ahead? So we have one more week. Next week is our last week of this. So.
Okay.
Wow.
And okay, talk to us about the graphics, because I'm being honest, this just looks so cool, and modern and fresh in 2026. And I mean, who's did these graphics? Because this is just, honestly, it's beautiful.
It's amazing. Emily Grokey in our print shop is our graphic designer.
Yeah.
And literally we meet with her and say, hey, this is what we're looking to do.
Yeah.
Records, iPods, or whatever. And it's amazing. She designs all of our t-shirts, all of our pamphlets that go out, every flyer. And she sends things like this. The first time she sent it, she goes, so is this okay? Or should I change it? We're all like, no, this will be perfect. We'll read it for errors, but this is great. Yes.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, no, this is great. And then they make the posters, they make all the flyers for us. I mean, we couldn't do this on our own. You can't do this in Word. So I think the graphics help catch the excitement also. So yeah, she's wonderful.
Well, JoAnn, you can send this back. Quick message for me on this one. I'm reading your financial one. Come on, can't buy me love. She works hard for the money. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, this is just fun.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we get the idea. You get the idea. You send a Google sheet out to those wellness captains and are like, okay, we need 5 songs for each of these. And they do the work. I mean, they get excited. So, I mean, they did a great job. I couldn't come up with these. AI couldn't have come up with these. My wellness captains come up with these.
Right. So, JoAnn, with that, a couple of questions that I have, and I'm just projecting what I think people who might be watching this podcast, especially the replay, might ask you is, how could we go about getting something started like this?
Well, the best thing that someone told me when I started this 4 years ago was to take baby steps. We started very, very small that first year with the wellness captains. We focused on our benefits that we had, trying to promote what we knew we had. Our employee assistance program, talked about our benefits, talked about, our benefits apps, things like that. We started flu shots. We started very, very small incentives. We did a walking challenge. We did a hydration challenge. That year, the first year, we just were listening to people, surveying people, getting those, it was that second year when we really started these incentives.
Okay.
It's that first year is just, it's learning, it's getting the people out there, it's getting those captains comfortable talking to people about things and just being there. But I think because we started small and we didn't throw things at people. We just started really small. And that was our theme the whole year when we met with them. I met with them 4 or 5 times that year. Okay, baby steps. How's this going? What do we need to do? That was the next year. Like, we need a newsletter. Okay, we need a group incentive. So after that first year, they really listened to what their staff needed. And then that's how it grew.
Yeah, Jennifer, any questions for obviously JoAnn here? Because I got to tell you, I'm so inspired. I want to go do this now.
I know.
I'll send you one and you can fill it out.
I would be happy to. Yes.
The coffee truck. And this is also January's financial wellness. And we put out something at DESI too, because people don't think about that. But if you don't have a budget, I mean, it really is taxing on somebody. I mean, it sounds like this, you said like the second year you started asking the staff, like, what would you want? Because, first off, people have to see what are my benefits, because they often don't know. So you're getting that out there. And then it also sounds like you're taking the feedback of like, well, this might be something you want, coffee truck every.
Yes. I love it.
But yeah, this is very cool. So the pathway to prevention.
Yes.
Absolutely. So JoAnn, our last question is, and coming from me, we've been on multiple podcasts together. So, I want to ask it. So this is obviously amazing. And obviously congratulations on the big award. But like any great organization, which I know you are, because we've done so much filming at your school with you and your administration, where do you pivot and go from here?
Well, actually, our wellness captains are meeting next week on Wednesday.
Okay.
And it is our planning day. We're actually going to have Dr. Armbrecht come and do a professional development with us.
Yeah.
And he's going to lead it. I'm going to be part of it. I want the wellness captains to talk about their successes, what we've done great, but then I want them to talk about where do we go next year? Where do we not? We don't want to stay stagnant.
Right.
What else do we need? So he's going to mingle the captains together and have them start talking about what do we want to do next year? What are we not touching on that we need to? Or what are we doing great that we could do again? So it's really going back to those captains and finding out, okay, where do we go from here? Because we have 27 wellness captains.
Wow.
And we have over 20 of them that have been with me for 4 years. Wow. They don't leave. So their input next Wednesday will be really important on where we go from here.
Wow. JoAnn, all I can say is just congratulations.
Thank you.
We love the partnership and relationship we have with Pattonville. And it's just amazing how, again, all these different areas that you guys just make a priority. I mean, whenever I get a chance to speak on Pattonville, to me, it's about, you've got people who are just driven off of passion, but strategic passion, see the bigger picture, and always have that buy-in from your administration. And it's amazing how you all can work together. And it's truly a very unique environment. Like I said, I've just been blessed, and we've been blessed as Missouri Healthy Schools to be able to bring our cameras in, like we did with your greenhouse initiative last year. And obviously we want to come back again with your kitchen that you have. So we got a lot of fun stuff still.
A lot of fun stuff.
Working with you guys. And but yeah, it's just so refreshing, JoAnn. I just love the fact that your school district is always just trying to be the best you can for yourself. You're not competing against anyone. It's just I just love the mindset that Pattonville, the culture that you guys have created.
Yeah, it's a great place to work.
Yeah. Well, I would say 19 years, right?
Yeah, 19 years. Yes.
Yeah, 19. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But
Guy, I almost forgot.
yeah.
We didn't mention the Missouri Coordinated School Health Coalition Conference. And there it's February 25th and 27th. This is for school administrators, nurses, food service, and they can listen to JoAnn. She's going to be presenting there. So
What's your session on, JoAnn?
oh no, I can tell you. Let's see.
Yeah.
She's going to be presenting with Eric, I think, Dr. Armbruck.
Yep.
And what's your session called?
She just cut out. Do you have it?
Well, it's on. It talks about her process and the wellness.
Oh
program.
yeah, that's what I
mean.
figure.
Just when she said she started small with year one, I thought, oh my gosh, that is not small. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Here it is. Local, inclusive, and fresh, a coalition building approach to employee wellness.
Yeah.
So.
Well, all I can say is it's just so awesome. Obviously, every time we talk to them, and they're just continuing to lead in so many different areas. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful relationship working with Pattonville and certainly with JoAnn.
Wow.
So with that, now we're going to segue to our second, and that's going to be going to a different school district, different part of Missouri. We're going to be looking at the Kennett Staff Wellness Program. So I was wondering, you want to introduce our next guest?
Yes, Christi Roberts is a registered nurse. We're so lucky to have a registered nurse at Kennett and over our health services there.
Hi, everybody. Good to be here.
Great to have you, Christi. Yep. So, Christi, why don't you give us a little bit about your background, kind of your why, and why you're so passionate to share with us tonight?
Well, I've been a nurse for almost 20 years now, mostly in the school and in the ER. I've only been in this position. This will be my second year here. So I'm still relatively new to this role at our district.
Okay.
But Deb Cook was here before me, who I'm sure anybody that does stuff with the state already knows. And she had already done most of the hard work of getting this all set up. She'd made the networking, the connections, started working on grants. And so really we just try to continue her hard work that she'd already started and build momentum on that.
Yeah, we, Christi, as you can imagine, we consider her to be like a Hall of Famer. I mean, we just do. I mean, we've done so much. I can remember when we went down, like during our spring break time, and we were there and watching Deb work and watch Deb had everything set up for us. I mean, she ran us, crazy at all your different schools. We had a wonderful time, but then to see Deb, at the coalition conference and also at the couple of the other conferences, it's just amazing, to your point, all the things that she had set in motion to really make it a lot easier now for the things that you guys are doing moving forward.
Absolutely. I think when they first started, they were doing the school health index and most recently the SHAPE assessments and kind of finding out where our gaps are, and employee and student wellness was what started that. And she did really hard work of passing the snack list where we restricted like homemade snacks and Cosby's, our favorite bakery, and all those things. So she took all the brunt of that really, really hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, why don't you talk to us a little about some of the initiatives that you guys are doing there at Kennett?
So luckily, through a lot of grant partnerships and different things, we've got to really concentrate on employee wellness this year. And one of my favorite things that we've done is our KSD Wellness Center. So it's open to staff 24/7 anytime. They can come in, they can work out. We have Pelotons and treadmills, ellipticals, weight trainers, all sorts of different things that they can get up and get moving. And, when we work on our physical health, it helps our mental health. And it's really important to us to have things that are attainable, that people can do. It's not just another something they're having to check off their list.
No, keep going.
Something else that we've done this year that was a lot of fun is a hydration challenge. So I feel like when JoAnn was talking, I was like, oh, we're in your year one. We're doing all the things you did there.
That's funny.
But we did a hydration challenge. We made it really simple. What's your personal goal? This is more about thinking about yourself and doing something positive for yourself and being intentional. So you pick your goal. We gave some guidance on what your hydration goal could be. And then you just fill out a really simple Google form that says, yes, I'm at my personal hydration goal, all honor system, and you get entered into get a random prize. So we had a prize pack for it. Everybody got a water bottle, and everybody was really positive and appreciated the just thoughtfulness of employee wellness.
And also, I know you've done a few other things. You want to share those with us too? I mean, seriously, it's the parallels between you and Pattonville, kind of that whole year one thing. So you got a few more things up your sleeve, I know.
So we also have a bike fleet that's at our wellness center.
Okay.
10 bicycles that staff members can come and check out with their family or their friends. They just sign them out, honor system again. We have bike helmets, and they can just come and ride bikes around town, get moving, get outside. And then at that same place where the wellness center is and the bike fleet, we also have Monday night yoga classes that are for all staff members, and we have yoga mats for them. So bring a friend, bring your family member. We have a local person here that's a certified yoga instructor, and she teaches those classes for us.
And then I know this is right up your alley because of your background. Talk to us now about the school-based clinic for staff and students, because I want to say when we were there just a few years ago, that's when Deb was kind of getting that in motion, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And now it's here, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We're a partnership with FCC, one of our community partners.
Yep.
We have a nurse practitioner that's at school 4 days a week, because we're at school 4 days a week now, and available for our students free of charge, does free sports physicals, and then our staff members can be seen there too. So not just like as an urgent care, but that can be their primary care provider, which really eases the burden on a lot of families of trying to figure out, how do I get a doctor's appointment scheduled and get there? And they do labs. They can do your primary care provider.
Oh yeah, I know. Like I said, when we were there, we took some pictures. Obviously we didn't post them, but we just took some pictures just because we couldn't believe what we saw. I was like, and this is a school?
Right.
No, seriously. I mean, and I hope that we do get a chance to come down there, bring the cameras back in now to show that. Because I think I really do think our viewers would be, pretty blown away by just how advanced of the types of services that you offer in that area.
And our nurse practitioner there has just gotten her psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. So she's going to be able to offer more mental health services now too, to our students and our staff, which we're really excited about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we're just going to continue a few more things that I know of. And one of them is, come on now, a personal AI trainer?
Yes.
Talk to us about Oxfit. Come on, what is Oxfit?
So through our partnerships at our wellness center, we wanted to make it accessible to everybody. So we have some regular weight trainers, but also I thought, I'm not a workout girl. I walk in a gym and I think, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. What do I do? Right. And so this machine, you do an evaluation. It finds out how strong you are, how weak you are, what you need to work on, and then it guides you through guided workouts. So it's accessible to everybody, and should, after that initial evaluation that really works you hard and you can't walk the next day, help you to meet your goals.
You can't walk the next day. Oh, Christi, that's an old cliche. That's what it was like in my day when I came out of school with an exercise science degree, and I was a personal trainer. So I remember those days, but then you say that, you still can't walk the next day. Oh, come on. It's 2026. We're not doing that. All right. And then I think really the big one, your Project Aware, which is that sharing 988. Kind of talk to us about that.
We do a lot of social media sharing, which we love through our Project Aware coordinator. And 988 is big for us, for our students and our staff and our community, just letting someone know that there's always help that they can receive. There's always someone there that can be on their side. It doesn't have to be a crisis. You can just call for any time for help.
Yeah.
So we've done a big social media campaign promoting 988 and just telling what it is, what to expect when you call, that you're not alone.
So, Christi, with that, talk to us about then, because of the social media, obviously now you're reaching into the community. What has been the impact with the community? Have any success stories or just a cool story to share with us that where you've made some big impact?
I don't know about big impacts, but little impacts most likely.
Sure.
Lots of people call the school and be like, hey, I saw this on social media. I'd really like to get my kid in for services. How do I do that? Which is huge for us because we send stuff out all the time through the school. Obviously that doesn't always make it home with kids, but this is on your Facebook and you're just scrolling and you go, oh, I think my kid could really benefit from some mental health services. And so that's a big win for us.
Wow. So, I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer to get it, because this is kind of her jam. This is her background, right? So,
yeah. Well, I
Jennifer,
spent a lot of time down in the Boot Hill and needs assessment and throwing all this stuff around about chronic disease prevention and what can you do. And it often boils down to the folks having trust in their provider. And can you imagine if your provider is at your school and they're the people you know, and then how much of the community and trust that you build, and you just normalize all these things around health when your provider's there at the school, and then they see something and it can get in, and that kind of engagement that you're producing. I mean, that's exactly what that community needed. More than Kennett, but I just think it's fabulous, your work.
I think it's good for people just to know that we're on their side and we're looking out for them and want everyone to be well.
And you didn't mention your calm note. She has an app that sends a message every day, and I signed up for it, and I got one right before we got on, and it said, how are you? Just take one word of how you're feeling right now. And I thought, and Christi had said, it's like it knows what you're doing. It like reads your mind.
And they promised me that it doesn't, that it's not spying on anybody. But yes,
but
it's like
pretty good. Yeah.
They come at randomized times of the day, so you don't just get used to it and scroll off of it. And it's just something positive, something you can do little for yourself, just some encouraging words. We're really excited about those too. Also, they're free to all staff members for a year for their subscription.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. And then we just started a newsletter. This was our first month to do, as JoAnn did, an employee newsletter to let people know what all we have available, because I have a lot of emails, but people are busy and they look at it and click off. So now there's a static email that people can go to and be like, oh, yeah, I forgot we had a bike fleet. Let's go check out some bikes together. Not this week because they'll slip on the ice, but any other time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then, Christi, just to let you know, we're going to go ahead and drop, for those replay viewers, we're going to drop your newsletter link in the description of this podcast, because obviously we're broadcasting this on YouTube. It will be there. So if people want to check it out, and see that, they'll be able to do that. Awesome. So thanks for making that available to us at Missouri Healthy Schools.
Yeah. Excited to be able to share.
I also shared it with our project officer at CDC and some of the folks there at the National Association of Chronic Disease Directors. And they're like, this is awesome. This combines so much in one newsletter and just such helpful resources. I was like, she gets an award for this. I mean, it's not easy putting together newsletters, but it's fantastic.
But you got to keep it short enough that people will actually scroll through it and read the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Very impressed.
So, Christi, I'm going to ask you with the big question, just like I asked JoAnn. Obviously, you're rocking it. You're doing some great things. Certainly, Kennett is, serving the needs of the students, the faculty, the staff, obviously the teachers. So, again, the same question I asked her. Where's your pivot, or where are you moving forward to next?
Well, I'm hoping to learn a lot from her at the Missouri Coordinated School Health Conference. And there's a lot of great staff wellness initiatives there that'll be talking to people. And so I hope to get some great ideas there. We're going to continue with the monthly newsletter. And each newsletter, we have a poll so people can say what they're struggling with or what they would like to see more of. And that way we can focus on those things and kind of build from there.
That's excellent. I mean, Christine, this is why what we do is we just try to facilitate a very big network where the way we see it is that we're all learning from each other and just trying to share what's going to fit your needs in your community, just like the different needs that they have at Pattonville, and we're always exchanging. And that's one of the things I can tell you that I love about, working with Missouri Healthy Schools are the resources. They are I just can't believe all the resources, that we have. And again, it's because of the sharing community that we're part of.
My favorite thing is always to share or steal some other districts they were successful with. Like, oh, you've already done this and figured out what all went wrong and what you would do different. Please tell me all your sage advice.
Well, exactly. I can just tell you from doing so many podcasts, it's been really neat seeing some of the people who meet for the first time, and they're like, they have kind of the same position at their schools, and then all of a sudden, like, there's all this back and forth going on. It's really fun.
Yeah, I took lots of notes while JoAnn was talking about money moves and Walktober. Or the Indians. So she said they were wellness captains. I was like, oh, we should be wellness chiefs. Like, lots of good ideas there just from that one little thing I watched.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Is there anything else you want to, share with us?
Nothing that I can think of today, but I sure do appreciate y'all having me on and letting me talk about what we're doing here in Kennett.
Absolutely. And again, Christi, we'll obviously have to look at our calendar, but after hearing all these exciting things, I just want to bring the cameras back, because I know when we were down there a few years ago, and I can remember when you guys were talking about it, I can remember when you had a few things going on in, the exam room kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I remember looking at Deb like, Deb, and you guys are at school? Yes. So it's just so exciting to see what Kennett's doing. And I'm just so glad that obviously, I know you're newer to the position, but it just seems like you're loving it and you're loving life and you're making a big difference in people's lives.
That is great to hear, because it's a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Christi, for being on. And obviously, we'll definitely drop the newsletter link for our viewers to be able to see that.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to y'all coming to visit.
Absolutely.
Well, I heard the goal when the Kennett staff went to the Foundations for School-Based Mental Health was to have a back-to-school bash, and I already have an invite. So,
right? So lovely.
Yep.
We're excited about that. We're trying to work with a lot of community partners and provide some services to kids, and use the health department and Telehealth Rocks, Missouri Healthy Schools. Anybody that wants to come on, y'all come down, and we're going to try to do something big for them.
Yep. Well, thanks again, Christi. And like I said, we can't wait to see about when we can schedule a time to come back and see you, certainly at Kennett.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. Yep.
See you at the conference.
How fun.
I know.
Can you believe that? The stories of these school districts on their employee wellness.
And the AI trainer.
Okay. Like what? I know. It really, Jennifer, it's just a testament to what, the commitment that schools are making and the leadership, and, because you've been in that space, a big part of your career. It's having the right leaders and having the right vision, and then getting the right team around you, which they all will always say, it's about our team. It's about our team. It's about our team. There's 2 school districts that are just living it on the front lines. I do love what Christi had to say at Kennett, though, is that, even though a little bit behind maybe where obviously where JoAnn's at or Pattonville, but at the same time, it seems like they're following kind of the same steps of, hey, this is where we are today. Let's just take it slow. Let's grow. I think that's the message, at least at this part of our podcast, after hearing these 2 amazing school success stories.
I agree.
So with that, now we get to probably, arguably, the spot that we get to highlight some of our colleagues. And we're going to be talking about right here, our own DESE school-based mental health framework. Let's just be honest. It's January. We know it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And let's bring on the experts because, and with this one, we're not just bringing on one. We got to bring on 2.
That's right.
So we got to bring on 2. So I'll let you go ahead and introduce them.
I just text them, so hopefully they know to come on. You're bringing them in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just tell me which one you want on first.
Okay. How about Lisa?
Okay.
Lisa Durking. She is the coordinator for school-based mental health, and she might have Katie with her. I'm not sure. No. Okay.
I just bring her on though. There's Katie.
Can you hear us?
Katie can.
And
Lisa can. Okay, you guys can unmute. You can unmute now. There we go. Hi, Katie.
Hi, it's good to be on, guys.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can. Yes. We got you, Lisa. Yep. Yeah.
Talk about worksite wellness. Guy, I heard so much about their team And there was just school-based mental health from the time I went to chronic disease and came back and all they did, I was like, I have to work with these folks. I was like, yes, this is the place to go. We talk about this is the dream team. So I'm glad they both could join.
Well, they are, and I do want to say this because this is a little history breaking, and Katie, Lisa probably don't remember this or know this, but when we first pitched, and this is probably going back 4 years ago, when we first pitched to the CDC about the whole podcast concept, the very first podcast we did was on mental health, was on this topic. And then after our first year for the anniversary, we came back, we had these two on, and they were just dropping the resources like left and right. And which is why I'm so excited to have them on. And so with that, I'll let Katie introduce herself first, and she can give a little bit about her background, her role, and then we'll turn it over to Lisa.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, Guy, for having me. I got to join you last January for Mental Wellness Month.
I know.
I'm always happy to come and share. I think one of my favorite things about my role here as a director of school-based mental health at DESE is that resource piece, letting people know that there are all these great things out there that can support the work they're already doing. And then I also love hearing those success stories. So hearing from Pattonville and Kennett tonight, always fun, and we like to hear those. In my role here, I primarily support Trauma-Informed Schools Initiative, youth suicide awareness and prevention, and then support our school social workers. So in a little bit, I'm excited to share some of the resources that we have to offer.
That sounds good. And let's go ahead and bring Lisa on. Hopefully she can hear us and give a little bit of background on her. Let's see if this works.
Can you hear us, Lisa?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Lisa Deerking, hold on. There we go. So Lisa Deerking, I'm the coordinator of school-based mental health here at DESE, and work with Katie and Jennifer and Crystal, and have a great team. I love hearing what JoAnn and Christi both shared about, it comes from the team. And so super excited to be here and appreciate it, and love to be able to share resources. My tech is a little wonky, so I'm watching the live stream over here to be able to hear like, oh, it's my turn to go on. So if it's like, that's why.
All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on your slide deck, and we'll start there. And I'll let either one of you go ahead and dive in on the very first one. Obviously, this has to do with support and professional development for a healthy workforce.
All right. I think I heard you say it's my turn to talk, because I think you said it's so funny to hear me over there. Okay. So you just heard from two amazing districts and on their staff wellness initiatives and just a few little pieces. And as they were talking, I was enthralled. I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want that soundtrack. We should start playing that here. And so hopefully you guys got a little bit of that excitement from them as well, because you could feel their passion come through. Kind of what we're going to do here is just kind of bring it back around to like a little bit of a high level overview. And one of the things that we did we started this work in December of 23, so about 2 years of work. And what we did was we were able to bring together a school-based mental health framework is the kind of the end goal of this work. And that's kind of the picture that you see there. But to get there, we brought together a collaborative around a school-based mental health professionals collaborative. And so folks from school counseling, school social work, school psych, and school nursing from those organizations, plus the lead at the state. So Marge was part of that, which I think that you guys, Marge kind of like Deb. And, just side note, I wrote down so that I wouldn't forget, but I wrote down Hall of Famers, people like Marge and Deb and Tom from MoShape. Anyways, that you should do a podcast with them. But anyhow, so back to this little it took a long time for it to get to this place where we're looking at this picture with these words. And what I want to bring your attention to is that what's circled, and it's kind of small, but it's one of the foundational pieces of the framework. So we brought all those people together and we Missourified these best practices. And so what does that mean? Well, one of the foundational pieces is support and professional development for a healthy workforce. And so you can see all the other parts there, but since we're focusing today on that, there's a few things that we wanted to highlight. People and partnerships are foundational to that. A healthy workforce is a well-supported staff, and it includes every employee in a school community. Caring for the health and well-being of school staff is, as you all just heard, so fundamental. And I love that Jennifer brought up trust with the community and all of those pieces. And then, of course, ongoing professional development as well. And so one of the highlights from this framework is it's not a cookie cutter, this is what every district needs to do. It's here's a framework, here's some ideas, and go forth and with local context, how it fits together for your district. And so then I'm going to turn it over to Katie, who might have a few other things to say.
Yeah, as you can see on the slide, there's a whole lot of things that go into the support and professional development for a healthy workforce, which, like Lisa said, we're talking about every adult who works in a school. We care about the well-being of every bus driver, custodian, teacher, school-based mental health professional, administrator, everybody. But sometimes we don't all think that we have a role in mental health, or we don't feel comfortable recognizing if a student may be having a concern or having that discussion on, okay, a student shared this with me and I don't know what to do. This is not saying that you should have to do things that are outside your scope, but maybe it includes mental health literacy. So helping people feel more comfortable having that conversation or recognizing there may be a concern, and then how do we connect them to that next best person to provide them support. And it's also about the staff wellness piece. We got to hear some great examples of different pieces of wellness earlier, right? We got to hear about the financial wellness, some great physical wellness pieces, mental wellness pieces. But we know we've got to have well adults before we can really offer all the great things we want to our students. As the adults in the school, how we're doing impacts student outcomes. If we are doing well, we're better equipped to meet the academic needs, the social needs, behavioral needs, the emotional needs of all students, because oftentimes we're called to lend skills to students that they can't access in the moment, right? They're upset, dysregulated, not able to think clearly. If we're also in that dysregulated boat, it is really hard for us to respond with patience and with empathy and to help them develop their coping skills. So that's why we want to focus on the adult well-being. And when we're talking well-being, sometimes people think self-care, which not everybody loves that term. But yes, part of well-being is helping develop those individual coping skills, but it's also about addressing those organizational factors that might contribute to stress and burnout, but also contribute to resilience. So again, it's for all staff. It includes that mental health literacy. How do I connect people to supports and that well-being for ourselves? And so we've got some great resources we want to share with you that can help support some of that.
Yeah, Katie, I want to add this. I think self-care is so important, and you may remember this, but when we worked together these last few years on this topic, we were actually able to be on mainstream radio because of that, because of talking about the self-care practices. And I'm just going to say right now, whether some people like it or not, if you engage in those activities, they can make a huge positive difference, as we know, because we've heard through the years from so many experts. So I'm so glad you included that into the framework. And I'll bring up your next slide, but I just wanted to comment on that.
Perfect.
Yeah, on that framework. So I'll bring up your next slide.
You're right. And those self-care skills, those coping skills are so important, and they're individualized, because what works for me might not be what works for Lisa or for Jennifer. You know, sometimes people think self-care, foot massages, bubble bath. Bubble bath, yes, please. Foot massage, no way. It stresses me out having people touch my feet. So that is not my preferred self-care, but it might be for somebody else, and that's fine.
Oh my gosh, that's so much fun. All right, let's bring up your next slide.
Sure. If you haven't heard about TeachWell yet, you probably haven't heard Lisa or I do a presentation, because I don't think there's ever a time that we talk about school-based mental health and well-being that we don't talk about TeachWell. TeachWell is a great resource. It was created specifically for school folks, for educators, by our friends at the Missouri Department of Mental Health. They have more than 60 little short courses, less than 5 minutes. They're probably like 2 to 3 minutes. And you can either go to their library and see all of the topics, or you can have one sent to you via text or via email. They come about every 2 weeks. Like Jennifer was talking about with those Coke notes, sometimes it seems really timely. One time I was in a staff meeting, we were talking about gratitude. My phone buzzed, so the next break I looked, and there was my TeachWell lesson about gratitude. But they're cool because they're little short lessons. There'll be a little bit of information, maybe a little video. Sometimes there are literally things you do, like a breathing exercise you can walk through along with it. And sometimes it's giving you more information about things like self-care and team care, or how to have difficult conversations with parents and caregivers, or different things like that. So they're super short little lessons, all to promote well-being, because we know that the emotional, mental well-being, right, of those of us who interact with students directly impacts the students' ability to have that positive learning environment. And we're not always great about prioritizing our own self-care.
So how would someone, Katie, access that? They can get that straight from the Missouri Healthy's website?
I say the easiest way is to just Google TeachWell DMH for Department of Mental Health, and there'll be a sign up where you can sign up. Like, I choose to get it texted to me. I think Lisa gets it emailed to her, or you can just go in and look. Like, I've gone in other times and be like, oh, what lessons do they have? And you can access all of them online.
That's really cool. All right, I'm gonna bring up your next slide, because I have to tell you, you guys always, I don't know why I'm so surprised, but you always bring out all these new things. So here's your next one. Let's bring that up on the screen. Free support for schools professionals through SchoolLink at the the University of Missouri. So which one do you want to tackle?
All right, so I'm going to take that one.
Okay.
And so SchoolLink, I love SchoolLink. This is one of the cool resources that's for all school people. And so it may say free support for school professionals, but you don't have to feel like, oh, well, I'm not a professional. I can't. Anybody in a school that's an adult can access this. Okay. And so you see the information on the slide where it shows the time, it shows a phone number, an email. There's a QR code for a web-based form for you to fill out. One of the things that I want people to know about SchoolLink is it's super confidential. It's timely, it's best practices. If you have, like, I've got a third grader with test anxiety, I'd like a quick resource, boom, put it in there. They'll be able to help vet some and get them back to you. They're experience trained. They are rock star, it's a rock star program. And we just want to get the word out for people that this is something that you can access, helping with resources. So like a lot of times what Katie and I will do is we'll give a presentation, we'll talk about different things. And then sometimes afterwards people are like, well, what was that thing that they said? I don't remember. And SchoolLink can help, like we're there too, but like SchoolLink, if it's a, they're one of their taglines is, there's no problem too big, no problem too small. And we just really want school folks to utilize this resource. And we're super glad that we have it.
Yeah, Lisa, I'm going to just change our screens here, but I can remember when that came out. And it was so wonderful when we had all the folks that were involved in designing this and the research and having it even, field tested. So that's a very impactful link that obviously has been used very successfully. And so now we got the next one. I'll bring this up and I'll let you guys figure this one out. But that is Feeling the Pressure, Reach Out 988. And I believe that was something that Christi talked about.
Yeah, I was so excited to hear Christi kind of plug that too. I think most adults in schools are probably familiar with 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and think about it with students, right? We might have posters on our wall, or the students might have 988 information on their identification badge, but sometimes we don't think about accessing it for ourselves. Or we get hung up and it says Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. I can't call or text or chat if I'm not thinking about thoughts of suicide. And of course, that is a great reason to reach out to them, but it doesn't have to be because of that. They also can help with emotional distress, concerns with substance use. How you define a crisis is up to you. We've heard people who answer 988 say, if you're just having a really bad day and you need someone to talk to, it is okay to reach out to 988. You can reach out for yourself if you're worried about somebody else. You know, a school professional might contact it if they're concerned about a student, but not quite sure how to address the issue, or to go through the process and talk with the student, you know, contact 988 together. But you can contact if you're feeling emotional distress, anxiety, feeling lonely or hopeless, you know, having some relational struggles, financial or job stress, any of those reasons, anything that you're defining as a crisis or concerning to you, you can reach out. They're available 24/7. Call, text for those of us who prefer that option, chat for anyone who needs that emotional support. It's a non-judgmental, trained person there to listen and then connect you to further resources if needed. So remember, it's for you too, not just for the students.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the next one. And now let's talk about the Missouri Family Resources.
That one's me. And so the Missouri Family Resources, one tool that for me, whenever I'm talking about this, I used to be a school social worker for a lot of years, and this would have been a game changer for me because we're constantly looking for resources, constantly figuring out how do we get the resources in the hands of families and, make that connection. And so the Office of Childhood came up with the Missouri Family Resources. Now, when you go on there, it might say for children, for young children, but really it's for anybody and all services. So it's really neat. You click on it, you go there, you enter your zip code, and within that zip code, then it pulls up resources. So it could be that you want a resource on housing, let's say food, you need a resource for food, you need a resource for mental health, you need a resource for fill in the blank. There's all kinds of things that you can search. And so we threw this in there, like, yes, it's good for educators to know this information for their families, but you know what? We're people too, and we sometimes need a lot of different resources for different things as well. And so we just want people to know about this one. The links that to go on to there are super helpful. And if you're somebody who does happen to work on, like resource Excel sheets or those, resource guides, they have a lot of different features with this. So just want you to know about that.
Yeah, and then I'll bring up our next one, the SHAPE system.
Yeah, I feel like Christi was plugging all the things I was going to talk about, and she didn't even know when she mentioned the SHAPE assessment. So the SHAPE system, the School Health Assessment and Performance Evaluation System, is really it's a free system. It's available. Any school district in Missouri or across the U.S. can utilize the system. It's got self-assessments that people can take to look at the quality and sustainability of their comprehensive school mental health system. So it will say, here's the things you're already doing well, and maybe here are some areas for possible, think about for improvement. And it also has hundreds of resources that have been vetted through the National Center for School Mental Health. So if someone works on this and they identify, staff well-being is something we want to work on, where do we start? There will be resources in there that could help guide them on that journey. And in fact, if you go to the next slide, one of the great resources that's available is the School Mental Health Quality Guide on Mental Health Promotion Services and Supports Tier 1. So every component of the Missouri Framework for School-Based Mental Health is based on some national best practices, and there's a corresponding guide like this one for each of the components. We're just focusing on the one today. But the National Center for School Mental Health has these available that includes more information on that component, best practices, maybe action steps like what you might consider doing, examples from the field and related resources. So if any of the things that have been talked about on this podcast about how do we know what our school climate is like, or how do we improve it, what tools are out there to help assess well-being, right? We heard Christi say they have a poll in their newsletter, so they're seeing what people need. And, JoAnn talked about their wellness coordinators or wellness captains also getting that information from staff to know what they want, so it fits to their context. There's examples of school staff well-being programs and more information about that mental health literacy piece. So lots of resources right here in this guide as well.
Wow. And what about the mental health training for schools?
Yeah, so you're talking about our 2-day Foundations of School-Based Mental Health training. We just
that one is me and the mental health training for schools. So through Project Aware, we are able to offer question, persuade, refer, and youth mental health first aid for free to districts that are interested. So Katie mentioned that mental health literacy, and so these are trainings that aren't telling people that, oh, everybody needs to be a mental health professional. That's not what this is. This is just kind of like a gatekeeper type of training to recognize those signs and symptoms and what to do. And so it puts some tools in the toolbox for folks. We do have that for districts right now. So if you're interested in that, on the next slide, we have our contact. So there's our contact information, and at the bottom is our website. And on our website, there's quite a few resources. So those resources that we've talked about tonight, there's additional resources. The other thing I want to plug that we didn't really talk about, because it doesn't really have a whole, like it does and it doesn't, but there's a lot of resources out there. I know that Guy said that earlier, but we are a very resource rich state, but sometimes it doesn't feel that way because we don't necessarily know about those. And so hopefully the resources that we shared with you tonight and that you heard from JoAnn and Christi will help get you on this road to mental wellness for your staff.
Absolutely. Ladies, you do it every year. You don't disappoint. It just seems like, you just have something that's just so much, honestly, just all these different areas and all the things that you guys are involved with, the research, the connections, certainly building the relationships. And there's just a plethora of places. And I'll also plug Missouri Healthy Schools. I do this every podcast. There's a whole lot of things that we talked about tonight that you can also find there. And I kind of want to, end and wrap up on this podcast. And Jennifer, you'll get the last word, but we're going to start right now. And I'll pull this off and we'll go with Katie. Katie, closing reflection for you in your role. Where do we go from here?
That's a really hard question to answer, Guy, because I just want to say up, right? Like we go up from here. It's been exciting to get to see the Missouri framework for school-based mental health come together. It's been exciting to travel the state and share a little bit about it with people, have schools come to our 2-day foundational training and dig in deeper. I think for me, what I'm most looking forward to is that next step and hearing from people who are implementing the practices and how it's going, right? So we can learn from each other, just like we got to do tonight.
Yeah, and Katie, that we're doubling down on that. I mean, Jennifer has said that the second that she had her first team meeting with us on comms, that is a big part. Is we want to share as many stories, and because this bottom line is, it's amazing how we're all learning from each other. But there's all kinds of success, like you said earlier, Katie. Success can look just differently in different ways, and that's why we want to get as many stories out there and as many case studies out there as possible.
Right. And like Christi said, why reinvent the wheel? You find something somebody else is doing and you go, I could steal that, or I could modify it slightly and it will work for me. So why not?
Oh, exactly. All right, Lisa, you got the same question. Where do you go from here? Because I know when I've asked you this in the past, you've talked about.
Okay, I'm going to say ditto.
Yeah.
I'm going to say ditto to what Katie said. And sorry, so ditto to what Katie said. I loved her words. And so I'm going to pass it to Jennifer to kind of round us out, because we've talked a lot about where to go from here. And I think she's got the perfect words for this.
Okay, Jennifer, here it is. Final word. Talk to us about, about the future and certainly integrating in the framework.
Well, now that Missouri Healthy Schools is housed with school-based mental health at DESE, I think what you're going to see is a lot of integration. And that's what we want to see out in the communities and in the schools is when you're talking about health, you're talking about physical, you're talking about mental, you're talking about behavioral. And as you know, because Guy, you've interviewed everybody. Most Shape America has a wonderful program, Healthier Generations, and then the WISC model and all our domains. It's like bringing it all together. And we're just going to continue to build that website with more resources. It's like somebody's going to go on there and get motivated by something, these podcasts, something that somebody said, and you just take the plunge. And, long term, it is a return on investment for your staff. It's about team-based care and you're supporting each other. So you have that retention and job satisfaction, because we all know, like last year when the Missouri Teachers Association surveyed their teachers, 70% out of, there was 1,800 that took the survey, said that they thought about leaving their jobs because of burnout and all that. I mean, 70%, who's going to be left? So that makes this so important that you just, you might not get it right the first time, but just pick something and we're here to help. And, if you're an innovator, you just want to jump in, or we have needs assessments and Katie and Lisa and our team can help. So there's always a resource. We're going to interview you, Guy, with these other Hall of Famers and pick out all the best.
You know what? We have to do that, Lisa. That was a great suggestion. Just to let you know, and this is a really true story. When I was with MoShape, I got asked to do a special on it was the holiday on that highlights the achievement of women. And we took some like Hall of Fame leaders in the health and PE space. We had 3 of them on, including our own Laura Beckman. And that was just absolutely amazing. But to do it with, Marge and Deb and Tom, are you kidding me? The stories that they still can tell, and they tell it so good, like they could tell it 30 years ago. I just love their wisdom. I love their passion. That's why I just always loved being around them. Always loved having them on camera. They always just knew how to say the right things. And then even when they were under a lot of stress, they just knew how to deal with it gracefully. Most of the time they just did. It's like no big deal. It's like, oh, there's a whole crisis going. Oh, we got this. That's called wisdom, right? And of course, in Tom's case, he's like in his mid 80s and he's still as sharp as a tack, and Lisa, so we will definitely talk about that, Jennifer, on our team call. But that would be simply a really cool thing to do. Not to mention with the backgrounds of Deb, her background, certainly Marge, of course, with nursing, and then, of course, Tom with the health and PE space, and certainly the curriculum space, too, with all that he said with, teacher education. So, Lisa, big idea tonight. There we go. Always innovating. All right, gang. Well, we want to thank you so much for tonight's podcast. If you're watching the replay, we're going to have all kinds of resources for you. Just replay this whole section with, obviously, with Katie and Lisa. They kill it every year. And also, certainly, you want to see what JoAnn had to share, and certainly Christi. It was just an amazing podcast tonight. And certainly, Jennifer, thank you so much for being on for the first time. I know, right? So our next podcast is actually going to be next month, and we're going to be looking at local wellness policy. And so we're really excited about bringing that to everyone. And then also we're going to have kind of a special sneak peek. We're actually going to do like a little promo for the upcoming Shape America National Convention, which is going to be in our backyard in Kansas City, Missouri, otherwise known as Shape KC. I know MoShape's doing something. I'm hosting a podcast for them. And I get to do this to be my 6th or 7th year doing this. You can also catch me on the Shape America, the Shape KC preview show for the conference. That will be 1 week prior. I'll have on about 10 people in that, including their president, Joy Deutsch, and a whole bunch of other guests. Of course, a lot will be from Missouri. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very busy month in February and March for me from the broadcast side, but we just want to bring you all this latest and greatest information. And I think we're off to a great start, gang. I'm certainly bringing a lot of attention to Mental Health Awareness Month as well as employee wellness. So ladies, thank you so much. And for Jennifer, Lisa, and Katie, my name is Dr. Guy Enough. I want to thank you for watching all right here on Missouri Healthy Schools Podcast Live. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.